It's championship season here at the MAC. And today, two of the best teams in Nassau County Girls A will compete for the crown. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino here with you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. It's the Nassau A Finals. Dylan Butler will join us momentarily. Well, two teams right now. Combined record, 42-2. Elmont, the Lady Spartans, coming off a year where they lost last season to Floral Park, who hands down was the best team on Long Island in Nassau County A. Now they get another chance at a championship crown. On the other side, North Shore, champions in the A 3 of the last 5 years, reaching the semifinals for now the last 6 seasons. They look to get another crown under their belt. Let's take a look at some of our highlight players for today. The Vikings' Gabby Zafiro is one of the best scorers on Long Island, more than 2,000 points in her career. On the other side for Elmont, the post is going to be an important spot today for Kem Wabadu. 13 points in their last win over Seaford. So that's where we are. It's the Nassau A Championship game. Will it be North Shore or Elmont? It's next on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
We are live from the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex, Hempstead, Long Island, New York. This is the Nassau County Girls A Championship game. And today, two of the best you're going to see in the county and maybe on the island, as the 21-1 North Shore Vikings will take on the 21-1 Elmont Lady Spartans. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino, Dylan Butler, thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. He's the head coach over there for North Shore, Keith Freund. Take a look at his starting lineup, which we'll go with at the point guard position: Zafiro, Scuderi, Fortich, Sheeran, and Barwick, who had a really strong game in the post. She's going to have a tough time today against maybe one of the better post players from the Lady Spartans. That's Tom Magno, the 10th-year head coach, a former Archbishop Malloy High School player. His starting lineup: Kira Holland, Jada Fernandez, Gigi Faison, Zanea Thibault, and Kem Wabadu. From left to right is North Shore. From right to left is Elmont. We're underway. Thanks so much for joining us. Quick play already. Fernandez will lose the basketball, and it will stay with the Vikings. They're coming off arguably their toughest game of the entire season, Dylan, against Sewanaka. It was a 2-3 battle, 70-65, and believe it or not, that's actually the lowest win margin this team has had all year.
Yeah, and they've beaten Sewanaka twice during the regular season. Nice interior pass.
Grabbed by Wabadu, but a turnover go back to North Shore.
But I feel like one of the more interesting things about this match was they haven't played each other. There's that intrigue of the unfamiliarity between the two teams.
And North Shore has, been accustomed to getting to this point of the season. They've never made the semifinals since 2012. Well, they made the semifinals every single year since. A Scuderi will miss wide left. And it's picked up by Zanea Thibault. Cuts through the middle and just comes up short on the layup. Such an explosive player. But North Shore, again, 3 of the last 5 years, they've won the championship. Last year falling to the eventual champions in Floral Park. And that is who Elmont lost to in this very same title game a year ago.
Yeah, so both teams hungry for a county title, and it's an interesting matchup of different styles.
Gigi Faison, she'll get the first bucket of the contest. It's 3-0.
Going to see Elmont some pressure.
Coming out in a man-to-man. Crossing on the far side is Sheeran, but she'll step on that far sideline. So many talented players on this court. You have 2 juniors who are 3-year starters in Thibault and Wabadu, and we're 15 and 24. And here is Zanea, who's coming off a game-high 22 points in their win over Seaford. 56-47 was the score. Drives straight to the rack, too strong. Into the hands of the 2,000-point scorer in Zafiro. You want to talk about a really strong junior class. Scuderi comes up well short in that 3-point attempt.
Yeah, I think it's going to take both teams a few minutes, certainly, maybe even the whole first quarter, to kind of get used to their surroundings.
Up and under move, and too strong from Jada Fernandez.
And that's a great timeout by Keith Freund, pretty much, I think, saying that same thing. Let's calm down. Let's relax. Now, the difference between Suffolk and Nassau, Dan, is that the Suffolk semifinals and the finals were at the same location, Stony Brook. So players on those teams, in the AA at least, were used to their surroundings. Here, the semifinals were at LIU Post, and now at Hofstra. The backdrop completely different.
Right.
It's that arena feel. It takes teams a little while to get used to that.
Yeah, LIU Post last week, it had to be about 85 degrees in that building. And it still has a similar setup with the stands behind. And one of the only schools actually in the area, and talking to Alex Zupios of Sewanega, he said, well, our gym is very similar to that, but other teams are not. And he said the best thing that can be translated to almost any other team. Early starts, you might be cold, but defense is the one thing you can always control, as Sheeran will draw herself 2 shots from the foul line.
Yeah, and I think in situations like that, you want to just keep things simple. You want to get to the basket, and in this situation, get to the foul line.
Thibault will pick up her first, as Ashley Sheeran, a 1,000-point scorer for the Vikings. She'll connect on her first free throw attempt. North Shore brings back, this is the crazy part, 5 starters with 23 years of combined varsity experience. 2 of the 6 1,000-point scorers in their entire program, Sheeran and Zafira, are the 2 who are on this team. Sheeran, the senior, who many think is the person you also want the ball in her hand in a big game situation. But when you have Zafiro, who can shoot lights out, you always have to watch out with number 13. Fordich back to Zafiro. Rattles out on the 3-point attempt. Rebounded by Wabadoo. Thibault can just put on a second and third gear as she crosses into the front court. Faison stops and pops from 14. She nails it. She's got all 5 points for Elmont. It's 5-1.
Yeah, real nice job, too, just getting out to the foul line, cutting inside, popping, and you see the pressure defense by the Spartans.
Sheeran straight to the rack. And she has all 3 points for North Shore. Ashley Sheeran averaging 10 points per game. On the other side, Gigi Faison, who again has 5 points thus far. She averages 8 per contest. This will be a travel. Both of these teams, it's kind of crazy. And talking to Keith Freund before the game, he said, how often do you see 2 teams with a combined record with just 2 losses? Combined 42-2. Driving baseline, Scuderi feeds a pass inside. Barwick underneath, no good. Fordich, and Barwick will clean up on the trash. Barwick had a nice outing, 11 points in that semifinal game against Sewanega after coming off a 0 performance against their quarterfinal opponent, Cold Spring Harbor. Thibault looks inside, and Nafe, it's not even a triple team, it's a quadruple team against Wabadoo. Now into the double, she'll lose a handle, it's knocked out of bounds. 4:17 to play in the first quarter, 5-5 is the score. Gabby Zafiro, who so far has no offers on the table, but plenty of looks. Expected to get many of those offers at the end of this spring season. Sheeran with a turnover, straight to Kira Holland. Holland will lose possession of the rock, fighting for the jump ball inside of the paint. And possession arrow will bring it to Elmont. So it'll take 9 seconds off the shot clock here. Under 4 minutes to play. Elmont averaging 60 points per contest, their lone loss. And in a game where foul trouble was the situation, they fell to Archbishop Molloy, one of the better girls teams in the entire region. Looks like this will stay with Elmont. Last touched off of one of the Viking players underneath. The one loss for North Shore at St. Anthony's, their opener, and they were missing 2 starters that day.
Yeah. So when you look back at the strength of schedule and the kind of quality of their one loss each, that's pretty good.
Defense has been the name of the game for both teams. keeping opponents just about under 40 or around that margin. Zafiro takes the screen, pulls back for a three, nicks off the front of the rim, fighting for the loose ball and the rebound, and Sheeran will get the fresh 30. Here's Zafiro again from deep. This time it rattles in.
Yeah, I tell you, her two misses, she didn't miss by much. She was right there. Her shot was on, and she got that confidence to keep shooting.
Per Newsday, she became the 33rd boys or girls player all time to get to 2,000 points, and she did it just as a junior. She broke the scoring record last year as a sophomore. Arguably the best player in their program's history, and in a program that has really continued to grow year after year. Wabadu at the stripe. She'll connect on her first. She had a really strong second half. Well, that's where she got all her points last game. 3-year varsity starter, all-county player. Zaria Franklin will come in, who started most of 2016 for Elmont. And on the other side, number 25, Isabel Glennon, the 5'5 junior. Travel against North Shore now, so Elmont will get the ball back. Trailing by just a point.
And you can see off of makes, immediately Elmont goes into that diamond press, and they really try to disrupt North Shore's offense.
It's all about doing the little things. Fernandez switches back to the left hand, drives the paint, and finishes. Lead is back for Elmont, 9-8. Jada Fernandez, her first 2 points, and she'll strip Zafiro. Coast to coast, and it goes. 11-8, a quick 4-0 run just from Fernandez. And now another steal by Fernandez. 3 excellent possessions for the junior.
That's 3 thefts. That's a felony.
Wabadu loses the ball. Now here is Scuderi. Spins around, gets triple teamed. And they're going to call a jump ball.
And that'll stay with North Shore. As a sub now will check in.
Jennifer Walton, the 5'7 freshman. Coming off a point and 6 rebounds. She comes in for Scuderi. Inbounds to the right of the basket. Glennon, and now Zafiro gets double teamed in front of the Elmont bench. And who comes up with the rock again? It's Fernandez. Speeds down the lane. She'll be fouled on the floor right at the foul line.
I'll tell you, it's interesting. We can get more into the similarities as this game goes on, but the boys and the girls teams at Elmont, they are predicated on their defense. And we're seeing that certainly here early on for the Lady Spartans.
They've held opponents 20 of the 22 to under 50 points. Looking for Wabadu right in front of press row. Floats it wing to wing. Zaria Franklin and back to Thibault. Thibault, crossover move, kicks out, Faison, and a travel. So that's 3 travels already here in the first quarter. Under 2 minutes to play in the opening quarter, an 11-8 lead. Zafiro leads Long Island in scoring, 29 points per game, second in 3-point field goals made. Stops and pops from 13, back iron, and then falls right through the cylinder.
A really nice look where she switched over to her left, found the seam, and hit the short jumper.
Thibault to Holland, the pump fake, then the scoop shot. It's now 13-10. Kira Holland gets her first 2. A 3-year varsity player herself. Sheeran cuts through the mid-block, and the lefty hook shot will fall. 5 points already.
Yeah, and
back to a 1-point game, and then an error and a pass out will be a turnover.
And they've all been almost on that same move.
Glennon will come off, Barwick back out on the floor. So we approach a minute to play here in the first. Zafiro came up a long time ago. Another turnover. Thibault straight to the rack, and the foul. This will go against Gabby Zafiro. And Zanea Thibault will shoot a pair of free throws here. Zendaya has been in double figures last 4 games. And even though she doesn't stand the tallest on the floor, she's just so explosive, and that's what really stands out. Pass first point guard, but she has learned to now take some shots, goes to the basket, and she can also spot up every now and again. Extends the lead to 2 as Scuderi comes back out on the hardwood. So 1 for 2 at the stripe. Fortis with the rebound for the Vikings. Led ahead here, Sherwin, maybe the best athlete that Keith Royne has ever coached in his time. Fortich cuts through the mid-block, and they're going to say a foul as she hit the paint. Could have also been a travel there.
Oh, yeah. I thought the travel came before the contact, but...
Thibault has both team fouls. Zafiro, catch and shoot. No good. Ricochets to Kira Holland. Wabadoo, and that is a travel. So 4 already here in the first quarter, Dylan. And that's something, again, the turnover number that needs to obviously be cut down. It seems to be an issue right now for the Lady Spartans.
And again, you would think that would be those early nerves and being in the championship game. Opportunity here for North Shore to virtually take the last shot, if they so choose.
Here comes a 3 from Scuderi. Nicks off the front of the iron. Fortich with the rebound. Timer is turned off with 20 seconds to play in the first. Barwick stops at the top of the key. Looking for the pass and gets it to Zafiro with 10 seconds to play. Pulls back. And an air ball.
Yeah, that was maybe the first shot that I think North Shore has taken that you want back.
6.5, and they'll let it roll out to Kira Holland.
You got to pressure that ball.
North Shore giving them a good chance at a final possession. 4 seconds to play. Dispossessed. Zafiro gets the ball back, dribbles to midcourt, gets the shot off in time, but she will miss. And that ends the first 8 minutes of play. So, back and forth we go. Turnovers have been an issue for both teams in the first. It's 14-12, Elmont over North Shore here in the Nassau A Championship game.
On March 12th, starting at 11 a.m., watch the best of Long Island high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions. Live on Channel 14. This doubleheader begins at 11 a.m. with the Class A Finals, followed by the Class AA Finals at 1:30 p.m. Watch the best of Long Island high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
1 quarter in the books here from the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex. Hofstra University, 14-12. Elmont is leading North Shore. Dan Severino, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnars. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. And a busy Saturday, busy weekend for us, Dylan. Tonight, we will have another game here from Hofstra. It'll be Westbury and Uniondale. Matt Shortis will have all the action. We have Section 1 finals today. We have New Jersey Wrestling Championships the next 2 days. New Jersey Hockey the next 2 days. It is a busy, busy time of year. Last touch by Elmont. Knocked out of bounds. Reset the lineup for you. For the Lady Spartans, it'll be Franklin out there with Fernandez, Wabadoo, Faison, and Kira Holland. For North Shore, going from left to right, Zafiro handles the rock with Sheeran, Barwick, Fortich, and Scuderi. Barwick looking inside, another turnover, and into the hands of Gigi Faison, who started the game with the first 5 points. Fernandez pulls out for a long 2 off the front of the iron, and back to Sheeran. No shot. I'm going to count it on the floor. Foul goes against Faison.
And you can see that Elmont taking that left side away from Sheeran there on that drive.
Not only do they bring back so much experience, but they bring back 2 all-state players in the backcourt. In Sheeran, who I guess you can consider a forward guard, kind of a combo player, and then Zafiro. She did just travel the basketball, though. So now a chance to extend the lead for the Spartans. So foul against Jada Fernandez, an illegal screen. Second team foul already in just a minute of play in the second quarter. Floating inside, Kira Holland with the steal.
Yeah, whether it's Holland or Fernandez, I mean, they've got some great anticipation, great hands. Might have been a moving screen there.
Faison. She now has 7. Dylan, for Elmont coming off a year. The last season they had 2 losses. It was to Archbishop Molloy again and Floral Park in the championship game as Zafiro misses on the baseline drive. Picked back up by Barwick. Here's Sherwin, fresh 30, three-pointer, no good. And Franklin will have it. But again, last year losing to Kaylee Hilaire, who was arguably the best player that we saw in Nassau County a year ago. You lose in a championship game, and you lost to maybe the best team last year on the island.
I don't, outside of Long Island Lutheran, I would say that's a certainly in public schools you can make that argument, yeah.
They've had a very competitive schedule this season, preparing themselves for the likes of North Shore and Sewanaka, Seaford. Elmont will get the basketball back. Another turnover. 4-point lead for the Lady Spartans over the Vikings.
And you just love when these schools go out and they seek out those tough non-conference. You play St. Anthony's, you play Molloy. That only makes you better.
Cutting through the middle is Franklin. She'll lose the ball, gets tripped up over Sheeran. No call. Zafiro the other way. Spin move to the rack. And a foul.
Yeah, she's like a top there, spinning through the lane.
So Jada Fernandez will pick up her second personal foul of this quarter. Third for the team. Zafiro right now on pace to actually pass Bethany Lesueur, who is really a big standout for Garden City years past, for maybe number 2 all-time in the all-time scoring list. She's on pace right now for this to happen. It just doesn't seem like she's slowing down by any means.
No. And that's rarefied air for girls basketball in Long Island when you start mentioning Bethany Lesueur's name.
5 travels already in the game for Elmont. So turnovers on both sides. We've seen forced turnovers. We've seen the unforced turnovers. Some of it may be some nerves.
That's also
Otherwise,
why,
defense.
Yeah, that's also why we're seeing such a low score right now.
And now the Elmont fans getting into it. Bounce pass into the lane. Sherwin in traffic. And a foul. Wabadoo will pick up the foul here. It'll be the 4th one for the team.
It's actually on Faison, which is her second. She raised her arms up and looked around, wondering how she had the foul.
So a chance to cut into this lead for Ashley Sheeran. Sheeran, believe it or not, was a stat girl for the team. Back from 4th grade to 6th grade before joining the team in 7th. Her sister played, her dad played college baseball. She comes from a very athletic family. She hits 1 of the 2, now has 6 points. It's a 2-point game. Another travel.
And
so
sorry, Dan, I was going to say, we're seeing it on virtually the same move, too. That little stutter step off catching the pass.
Now Zanea Thibault, who comes in with 2 personal fouls already, having to miss a bulk of the end of the first quarter. I don't think she's coming out for the last 4:50. Zafiro the other way. Throws up. No good. Here comes Thibault. Sheeran, of course, getting a matchup on her. Fires a bullet underneath. Good ball movement here. Franklin, short corner. And a miss. You could just see, Dylan, the explosiveness of Thibault and how she just makes everyone around her much better.
Well, and 2, her ability to dribble and drive, you've got to...
Sherwin for 3.
you've got to respect that ability, which also then creates opportunities to pass the basketball, and she's certainly unselfish enough to do that.
North Shore now has the lead. Sheeran has 9 points. Wabadu on the double team, post up, back iron. They've done a really good job of containing her. She looks very frustrated here in the first half.
Yeah, that's not, she needs to be getting that basketball 5 feet and in.
Barwick! She's usually one of their post players, and she drains it from about 16. So since Thibault has come in, it's been a back and forth battle. You can see the intensity has picked up. Here's Holland. And she drops in a three-pointer of her own. Sheeran inside, looking for Zafiro. Last touched off of Thibault, the officials are going to say. Our officials today, Tim Borick, Steve Hopkins, and Tom Sheehan. Fordich finds Bark. Wide open, Scuderi comes up short. She's a player who has the range. Sometimes can get frustrated when things aren't going. They just want her to keep shooting. And a foul in the middle of the court, right at that Hofstra logo. Zafira will pick up her second. Teams first with 3:03 to play in the half. 20-19. Faison on the inbounds. Thibault, now Franklin. Driving baseline. Here's Gigi underneath the basket, just comes up short on the up and under move.
Yeah, she goes for that reverse layup. Needed to be a little stronger on that one.
Good defense by Wabadu on the block of Sheeran. In transition, Holland couldn't get it from the right block. That would have given Elmont the lead back. Zafiro stops and pops in the right wing. No good. Barwick hustling for the rebound, but she'll be too far deep on the court. Elmont will get the basketball back. Franklin will come out, entering in Jada Fernandez. 4 points today and maybe about 4 steals as well. Elmont coming off that really tough game against Seaford. Bob Vacris' group, who actually was the former coach at North Shore, and Keith Freund, coach underneath him. Here's a right elbow jumper that drains for Zanea Thibault. 21-20. Zafiro, hands off underneath, Fordich. Nobody took her. Lead is back for North Shore.
That was a great look down low, simple layup.
They post up in the double team. Wabadu, now Holland for 3. Too far left, rebounded by Sheeran in her own end of the court.
Yeah, I love her athleticism.
She will hustle for every loose ball. Good feed inside. Coming up short was Walton. Underneath the basket amongst the trees is Walton. It's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor the Vikings. Scuderi for Walton for North Shore. And Franklin for Thibault. For the last 92 seconds of this first half. Fordich, good inbounds. Scuderi for 3. Another air ball for her.
Yeah, she struggled to find her shooting touch in this first half.
Good hard move by Franklin from the stripe. The Vikings looking to extend. Zafiro very close to a backcourt there. Stripped away. Franklin taken back by Fordich. Crossover move. Zafiro gets double teamed. Heaves it up. No good from the left block. 3-pointer. Fordich.
Oh, what a great pass that was from down low off the rebounds. Fordich flashed out to the baseline. Nails the 3. Timeout, Elmont.
A 30-second timeout for the Lady Spartans. It's now a 25-21 lead for North Shore, their largest lead thus far in this contest. Dylan, the Vikings, again after that game against Sewantica, 21 straight wins though to start off this season after that opening game loss. Really, this program has continued to excel. There's been a lot of growth on many of these players, but they take it one game at a time. It is no different whether it's a semifinal game, a championship game. They have state championship aspirations.
Without a doubt, and they've got the players and the, you mentioned the mentality, they've got the players and the coaching as well to make that deep run.
It is a shame that these two teams, one is going to have to be on the losing side.
What you like too, I think, is, you know, everyone loves the Cinderella stories, but it's great that definitely the top two teams in Nassau A are facing each other right now.
Two groups that can definitely win a state championship, without a doubt. 45 seconds to play in the half. Elmont now trailing by 4. Thibault back out on the court. Takes it from the wing, bounce pass inside. Here's Faison. Good hop step, comes up short on the right-handed hook shot. Rebounded by Zafiro. About a 1 second differential between the shot and the game clock. Zafiro pulls up for a 3, short iron. They get the ball back.
Yeah, I tell you, North Shore has done such a great job on the offensive glass.
Sheeran to Barwick with 8 seconds to play in the half. Weaving through, but it'll be a turnover. And with 5.5, Elmont can bring it back to a one-possession game.
Good job by North Shore getting up in the front court, pressuring the ball this time.
Sheeran on Thibault. We've seen that all day. Faison for 3. No good from about 25 feet out. So that's the half. 25-21. North Shore is leading Elmont back and forth game. And Dylan, again, some nerves to begin this, some turnovers on both sides, but now you see the intensity starting to really pick up as we hit that second frame.
And we'll see when the two teams go into the locker room, the adjustments that are made, and should make for a really fun second half.
16 minutes of basketball is in the books. We'll be back with the second half momentarily on News 12 Varsity.
On March 11th, starting at 5 p.m., watch the best of New Jersey high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions, live on Channel 14.
At the buzzer, good!
This doubleheader begins at 5 p.m. with the non-public B finals, followed by the non-public A finals at 7 p.m. Watch the best of New Jersey high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
Back at the MAC, Hofstra University, our site for today's Nassau A championship game. Elmont trailing North Shore 25-21. It's the top two seeds. Dan Savarino, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnarrs, thanks so much for joining us. Dylan, so far you look at that first half. Again, we brought up the turnover numbers. Not good as of right now between the two teams, but even some of the top scorers haven't really been scoring as much. Zafiro has 6, Sheeran leading with 9, but on the other side, a combined 4 points between Thibault and Wabadoo.
Yeah, and, you know, you want your best players to come up the biggest, but again, you know, I think you hit it on the head. You know, you might say it's nerves, and we'll see maybe how that changes after a bit of a break in the locker rooms and a chance to kind of decompress.
Elmont will start with the basketball. Fresh 8 minutes on the clock. They go from left to right. Fernandez will pull back for a long 2 and miss. Reset the lineup for you. It's Holland, Fernandez, Faison, Wabadoo, and Thibault. On the other side for North Shore, Zafiro with the right elbow jumper, and she will connect. Now has 8 points and a 27-21 lead. Fordich, Sheeran, Zafiro, Scuderi, and Barwick. Wabadoo fighting for the ball down the right side of the paint and gets fouled on the shoot. Wabadoo 1 for 2 from the stripe. Get all her points last game coming in that second half. And they have done a really good job of containing the multiple-time All-County forward. She'll miss on the first free throw. Has the ability to shoot as well. So you wonder what point she stops trying to go with her back to the basket and will turn around and shoot a J. 0 for 2 from the line. Sheeran has been very good today. Bright lights have not bothered her one bit. Fordich. Good pass. Zaviro. Good.
And I think that's a problem now if you're Elmont. You're worrying about Zafiro heating up. That's 5 points, all 5 to start this second half.
Thibault with a quick response. Yeah, that was probably the best ball movement we've seen in a while. Getting out of that double team down low. Fordich on the baseline. The two 11s come together. And it turns into a turnover. Kira Holland, now Zanea Thibault. Thibault getting plenty of looks at the collegiate level. Holland on the near wing. So is Wabadoo. And she's fouled on the floor.
By the way, how about this day? I thought I had a long day today. Being here for the 4 games and calling the last one with Matt Shortis. I think Chris Agostino has just about as long a day as well, the Elmont AD.
They'll have to wait for the AA Girls Championship game, which will be Massapequa and Baldwin, a rematch from last year. Baldwin, of course, right up there, tops our poll. Faison missing from the left block, double teaming Zafiro underneath the hoop, gets the ball out to Sheeran.
And he's got the possibility of having both his teams go to the States. And the problem there now, if you're Agostino, as a long rainbow 3 off the front rim, is they're in different locations. The girls are in Troy, the boys are in Binghamton.
You can't be like Mrs. Doubtfire and be at 2 places at once.
No.
That's impossible. Holland for 3.
At least here, it's the same building.
Zafiro to Scuderi, who was fouled on the floor, and for her, she has had a tough time shooting. But a player who they keep stepping back more and more in practice and say, all right, hit it from here now, hit it from here. And they keep moving her way, way back. So you know she can drain them. It's about getting her confidence back up. Isabel Glennon just came off the bench. Will inbound to the left of the basket after Fernandez picked up her 4th. Wabadoo on the steal. Thibault to Faison. Stops and pops from 17. Nicks off the front of the rim. The putback from Wabadoo, no good.
I'll tell you what, though, I think we're seeing a lot more aggressive Wabadoo in the second half.
Sheeran in the paint. Scoops around, and it won't rattle in. That went all the way around the cylinder. Wabadoo with the defensive play.
It went out and in and then back out. And then you see Wabadoo. Like I said, aggression on both sides of the ball. If I'm Elmont now, I'm working some plays down low for her.
Now, you said it, though, Dylan. Ken playing at a different level right now in the second. Even though the buckets aren't coming, she just has a determined look in her face. Holland driving the baseline. The floater from about 5 feet out will connect. Holland has 7. It's a 5-point lead. Here's Scuderi for deep. Too long. Rebounded by Wabadoo and Elmont. Thibault puts on the second gear. Kicks out. Faison with the pump fake. Draws the foul. Fordich is going to be on the negative side of that play. Her first, team's 3rd. Fernandez cuts through the paint. And it falls. 6 points for Jada Fernandez. Back to a 3-point contest. And the Elmont fans are feeling it. Zafiro with the response. The scoop goes. 32-27.
She's got all of her team's points here in this second half.
Thibault just lost the handle on the rock, asking for a kick. Ball does not get it. 4:12 to play in the 3rd. 32-27. Elmont led for most of that first quarter and into the second. Since then, it really has been all North Shore. Both teams staying right in it. Triple team down low. Fordich will lose the handle on the basketball.
It was a nice lob into the post, but the problem is that, as you said, there were 3 defenders there.
Let's go, Elma!
Here comes Anaya Thibault. Euro step to the cup. Misses.
Yeah,
Zafiro the other way.
There was contact with Sheeran, but it was not a foul.
Too strong, second chance, and that will go.
I like what I'm seeing from Zafiro in the second half. Her shot from the perimeter wasn't dropping in the first half, so what does she do? She goes to the basket.
Fernandez got stripped from behind. Scuderi into the front court. Glennon. Scuderi with another hustle play, but it'll go back to Elmont, one of those that gives you the applause from your teammates, though it does not give you a possession.
So 9 points in this second half. All 9 points for Zafiro. Timeout for Elmont.
So Tom Magno is going to talk things over for the Lady Spartans with 3:19 to play here in the third and trailing.
George Lob here. There's Agostino.
The brain trust in Elmont.
You could say that, yeah. Chris also said, thank you for the pick, by the way. I picked Elmont over Southside on Huddle Up with Amanda.
That doesn't always work for you, though.
No, it doesn't. And I always hear when I get it wrong. Like, so after the Catholic final, right, Regan Quinn of Chaminade immediately sought me out and said, hey, don't bet against us. Don't doubt us. I get the same thing from a Hills East player after I picked Bayshore and the boys.
The same thing in hockey, too, and down in Long Beach.
Yeah, Shane Puce.
Shane Puce grabbed the microphone from me and said, I just want to point out that we watched today Dylan Butler pick against us. You're wrong.
All right.
So, Dylan, you're a motivation factor for many, clearly.
Clear. Across sports, across counties. But Chris said thank you. He said, you did one better than Pav ever did for us.
3:15 to play in the third, 34-27. Elmont has been trailing for a while now. Wabadoo on the double team, spins back towards her left, and it falls just as it was sitting on the end of that cylinder. It's Kemp's first field goal of the game, believe it or not. Zafiro driving the paint. She'll miss. Wabadoo, long pass ahead to Faison. Plenty of contact, no foul. Zafiro the other way. Flies down the far side of the court, stops inside the paint where she is stripped by Kem Wabadoo. Now Wabadoo loses a possession. Jump ball will be the call. Possession will bring it back to the ladies wearing maroon.
Yeah, wild sequence. And Wabadoo slow to get up. Really frenetic and frantic the last few moments.
North Shore, they defeated Floral Park in the first round, the team that ousted them last year in the semifinals. They defeated Seaford in the quarterfinals. Excuse me, in the semifinals. Quarterfinals, they beat Cold Spring Harbor. Now looking to defeat Elmont in their first meeting of the season. Today, Thibault is going to shoot after the foul go against Isabel Glennon, the senior. Oh, excuse me, the junior, rather that. So team's fourth, 2:15 to play. Thibault usually a very good free throw shooter, even though she is just 1 for 2 today. They encouraged her from the beginning of the year to be more aggressive, and we have seen her take some good takes to the basket. Maybe not as many today, Dylan, when you're getting that double team down low. Really, anytime North Shore has been on the defensive side, you've seen the two just swarm the paint. She's a spark plug. 1 for 2. Wabadoo with the rebound, but a travel. Asked for help. Does not get it from the other official, though. That will actually be 7 travel violations against Elmont in this game. 4 Elmont players in the backcourt. They back off as Sheeran crosses into the front. Fordich steps into a three-pointer. Trying the bank, will miss. Holland for the rebound, and Zafiro's going to get called on the push. That'll be Zafiro's 3rd personal foul. Team's 5th.
Yeah, that'll mean free throws.
So once everyone realized how many team fouls it was, first time either squad will be in the bonus. And Kiera Holland is at the line. Holland coming off a 3-point outing. Averages almost 10 per contest. Very versatile player. You can stick her in almost any position. That could be said almost of every player on the floor. Wabadu can play a 4 or 5. Everyone else can play a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Wabadu, the floater. Rattles out. Picked up again. Second chance, will draw a foul.
And again, that's the aggression of Wabadu leading to positive things for Elmont.
Gigi started with the first 5 points of this game. She now has 7. Looks to cut into this deficit to a 1-possession contest. And that she will do. Faison double figures 3 of the last 5 games. Dropped 19 against Garden City a few weeks ago. Does not shy away from those big game moments, as you can see right there. 2 for 2 from the line, back to a 2-point game. Nearly a full court trap. Fordich on her own baseline. Gets it over to Glennon. Sheeran. Now Fordich stepped on the sideline. And you see all the fans on their feet. That was a huge defensive stand.
Including a literal Spartan.
A little bit different than the Holy Trinity Titan mascot from the other day. I like Sparty, even though that's not his name.
How do you know? Did you ask him?
I didn't. He doesn't speak, though. He's short of words. Travel against Faison.
But again, we'll see the pressure by Elmont.
Scuderi, headman Zafiro gets into the front court.
Yeah, better that time from the Vikings.
To the trailer, Fordich, and that's a travel the other way. Keith Freud not very happy about that call, and I think a lot of the travels lately, that has been one of the main whistles we have heard from 3 in the stripes.
But he voiced his displeasure in such a nice way.
Very mild-mannered man.
Yeah.
Both coaches really are. $1:15 to play in the third. The chant is "Let's go Elmont" here from the MAC. Looking to take their first lead since early in the second. Wabadu couldn't get the tie, kept in. Nice hustle play along the baseline by Franklin. It will stay with the Lady Spartans.
And a power move by Wabadu.
You mentioned about North Shore not winning much early on, or at least in the last decade, besides the last few years. Elmont do the same exact thing. Faison for 3. She'll miss. Now, last deep run prior to the 2014-2015 season was actually in 09. They've made the playoffs now 5 straight years under Tom Agno, who's been there a decade. Holland with the personal foul, team's second. 40.9 on the clock, and Sheeran's going to shoot a pair of free throws.
I like what we're seeing here from Freund, too, where he's pulling the rest of his players over to the bench. It's almost like a free timeout just to set up the final 40.9 seconds.
Scuderi will come off for Jennifer Walton. Faison will also step off the floor for Fernandez. Sheeran with an 0 for 2, but an offensive board and a fresh 30 for Zafiro. 10-second differential between the timer and the game clock. Popped loose. Walton and Sheeran now between the rings. takes the screen up high. 15 on the timer. Zafiro almost loses a handle, pick it back up. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Here's a three-pointer. Walton. It's an air ball into the palms of Fernandez. Thibault yo-yos the ball into the front court with 6 seconds to play. Stops at the elbow. Fernandez, long two-pointer. Tie game. And that's the end of the third. A huge bucket for Jada Fernandez after a strong defensive stand, and we are tied as we head to the fourth quarter. It's 34-34, the Nassau County Class A championship game, only on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
A loud ovation and a tie game as we begin the fourth quarter of regulation. Elmont and North Shore, Nassau Class A championship game. Jada Fernandez hit a bucket. It's a long two-pointer from the left wing that tied this game at 34. Wabadoo to start the fourth and the lead. Zafiro, Sheeran, Barwick, Scuderi, and Fordich the five for the ladies wearing maroon. And a travel against Zafiro, and does not agree. For Elmont wearing the white uniforms from left to right, who now have their first lead since early in that second. Fernandez, Thibault, Faison, Wabadoo, and Kira Holland.
Yeah, I tell you what, I go back to Wabadoo now. She has been that spark for Elmont in the second half. Another traveling call.
So they're not going to give a travel. One official gave a travel, the other one said it was a foul. Long two, Kira Holland. 4-point lead for Elmont. It's been this pressure defense that has really worked in the last couple of minutes for the Lady Spartans. So hear the chant of defense, defense. Scuderi, now Barwick. Stops along the perimeter, now on the left wing. Sheeran looks for a bullet inside to Fordich. Fernandez comes away with the basketball. Another steal, straight to the rack, but stripped. It will stay with Elmont. Dylan, you just feel the momentum swinging in the last couple of minutes from one side of the court to the other. Floats it in, Wabadoo and Scuderi will battle, and they're gonna say last touched off the body of the Elmont forward.
Yeah, great hustle by Scuderi in that situation. And now with things getting a little bit frantic for North Shore, I think the best thing they can do is get the ball into Sheeran's hands. It seems like she's just a calming influence whenever she has the ball.
There she has it. From the right block, draws a shooting foul. It will go against Gigi Faison, her third personal. Sheeran missed her last two free throws. She's just 2 of 6 from the stripe today. One of the best athletes to ever come through the North Shore program. She will not go on and play any collegiate sports, but is looking to pursue her academic field. Very bright girl as well. It's crazy to think also that a 3-sport athlete who's been on a swim team since 7th grade, 3-year varsity lacrosse player, she'll finish with 18 total varsity seasons. Sheeran hits both. Keith Freund calls the timeout with a 2-point contest. Elmont leading North Shore 38-36. Dylan, of course, the winner of this game will face Mount Sinai, who just won the championship over Harborfields. And Harborfields making their 9th straight finals appearance at that point. Champions in 13, 14, and 15. But a big win for the Mustangs, who got their first in program history. They also won the small school title. They beat Central Islip. Again, that doesn't really count in terms of standings or whatnot, but it's still a tournament that Suffolk County does. They keep everyone loose. And they'll play in the LICs next weekend. We'll have all the action for you on News 12 Varsity. A noon start. It'll be Mount Sinai against one of these two schools.
And that'll be another matchup of teams with just one loss.
Crazy to think that these two that are playing right now a combined 42-2 record.
So then if you add, so what would that be? 63-3 between the three teams remaining in Class A on Long Island.
Remarkable. And it hasn't been easy competition for any of them. Wabadoo posts up in the double team. She was asking for the foul, doesn't get the call. Zafiro into the front court. Sheeran on the right wing. Takes the screen from Barwick, drives to the baseline. Wabadoo, good defense on her. Sheeran will keep possession with 15 on the timer.
And she's feeling her thumb. She might have got it jammed a little bit on that drive.
Matchups have been so interesting to watch. Sheeran has taken Thibault the entire time, but Wabadoo has done a good job on Sheeran down low. Here is Ashley from the right block. Too strong, rebounded by Wabadoo.
That's one where I think she's got to take a quick, short jumper instead of putting the ball on the court and giving her defender an opportunity to defend.
Thibault between the rings. Yo-yos between her legs, matched up with Fordich. Driving baseline, Faison, turn around. It goes. 4-point lead is back. Faison now in double figures with 11. And she'll also pick up her 4th personal foul. Zafiro, travel. Got a combined 13 travels between the two groups. Thibault, beautiful kick. Holland off the front of the iron. Zafiro coast to coast. Knocked out, 5 seconds off of the shot clock, 5:12 to play in the 4th. Almont will get their sub on, that's Zaria Franklin, the junior, for Gigi Faison, who was playing with 4 personals.
A good sub there by Magno, just to make sure, even if it's an offense-defense, you make sure that she's not picking up her 5th and another traveling violation.
It's about 4 or 5 travels within the last maybe 6 minutes of game time. Maybe less. Thibault with 5 minutes to play. Picked up by Sheeran. She read that the entire way and gets it back to a 2-point game. Sheeran has 13. Thibault along the perimeter, takes the screen, near side, Franklin, they play catch. Crossover move, travel.
You will say this about the officials, whether you agree or you disagree with the calls, they have been consistent.
Zafiro threads the needle to Fordich, and it's a tie game at 40. Nice dime from Gabby. "30-second timeout for Tom Magno. 40-40. 4:18 to play in the 4th. What a game this has been. We knew it was going to be an excellent battle between the two groups. That was expected. We were treated to a really, really exciting semifinal in both of the semis. Seaford and Nelmont, and of course North Shore and Sewantica, which had a crazy finish towards the end. The championship game has lived up to the North Shore looking for their 4th Nassau County title, which would be 4 in 6 years. Almont looking for number 6. They haven't won in the last 13 seasons. Coming close, though, many times. After the Almont timeout, we'll have the basketball right at center court. Thibault, Faison comes back on the floor. Holland, Fernandez, and Wabadoo. Here's Kem, top of the key. Jump pass into the corner. Looking back for Wabadoo inside the paint. Hustle play by Fernandez, gets free, and opens up the bank. What a play by Jada Fernandez. Zafiro. Fouled. Foul will go against Kem Wabadoo. Only her first. The team's 3rd. Fouls are 3-0. With Almont having all of them. Zafiro a chance to tie the game. She goes 1 for 1 here on another free throw attempt.
I think that just speaks volumes of how in control and aggressive Wabadoo is.
2 for 2. 17 points for the Long Island leading scorer. Tie game. Down to the baseline. Blocked by Zafiro on Faison.
That was a heck of a block, too, because Faison got her beat.
Zafiro weaves her way to the cup. Will miss. Wabadoo with the board. Wide open. Faison. Yes! A 3-pointer and a 45-42 lead. Jada Fernandez with the foul. She now has 4. So Faison playing with 4, Fernandez playing with 4. Not so much for foul trouble for North Shore. That is an advantage they have at this point. Trailing by 3. 3-pointer to tie. Will miss. Sheeran fighting for the rebound. Wabadoo picks it up. Fernandez gets the ball back. And this will be a blocking foul against Selena Fortich. Fortich, the 4-year varsity player. Faison has 14. She passes over to Thibault, who's playing with 9. Thibault down low. Faison, pump fake, and a shooting foul.
I thought that was a travel.
Now Zafiro's playing with 4 personal fouls. So their top scorer and the top scorer on Long Island is in foul trouble. 2:44 remaining. Gigi Faison, basketball IQ again off the charts. Older sister played at Almont as well. And undoubtedly she's been their best player today. Wabadoo, offensive board, too strong. And she's gonna want that one back. 4-point lead as Sheeran crosses into the front court. Stopped at the right elbow, back to Scuderi. Chest pass to Barwick, thinks about the shot, stops at the foul line now. Back to Scuderi with the floater 15 feet out, no good. Offensive rebound, too strong. Thibault with the rock. Flies up the near side of the court. Gets past 2 defenders. Looks for the bounce pass, but a travel.
She did so many things right on that play, but as soon as she spun, that's where the travel came in.
10th travel violation against Almont.
Oh.
Sheeran with the turnover. Kira Holland pressured by Fortich, and they get it back to their primary ball carrier. Faison with the jab step. Back to Thibault between the circles with under 2 minutes to play. Wabadoo with the right hand, all nylon. 6-point lead for Elmont. Timeout. 48-42. What a turnaround for the Lady Spartans. Dylan, they preach defense, and it really has been because of the defensive game. After that big full court press, which eventually turned into a chance to tie, that's kind of how things have really started to swing in their direction.
Yeah, it's been the interior defense of Wabadoo, certainly, and then you've got Faison and Fernandez on the perimeter wreaking havoc. So, yeah, look, like the boys team, defense leads to offense, and that's what we've seen throughout these 3+ quarters.
Last year's championship, 60-49, Floral Park. Hilaire dropped 37. Now a Seton Hall player over in New Jersey.
Yeah, and she's seeing time, too.
And you see Baldwin out there. They'll be getting on the floor at the conclusion of this game.
Yeah, Baldwin, Massapequa, one of them will take on a Central Islip team that just won their first county title since 1960.
Big win over Comac, which ended a chance at a three-peat. Out of the timeout, $1:48 to go, full court press for Elmont. Other coaches have said it, Sheeran's the one you want the ball in her hands in the big game moment. And Wabadoo will pick up personal foul number 2. Sheeran will head to the free throw line.
Yeah, and we mentioned it earlier, when you need something, when things are getting a little hectic, you go to Sheeran, who is that calming influence, and she will not be rattled. Knocks down the first. How great has she been today?
15 points. Back to a 4-point contest.
And now the full court pressure from North Shore.
Fernandez to Faison. Dances out of danger. Fernandez into the front court, kicks out. Here comes Holland. Missed on the long 3. Sheeran to the rack. Got stripped. And Faison got tangled up with Fordich.
Yeah, there was lots of contact as Sheeran drove into the paint. No call, though. $1:20 left. Fourth quarter, Elmont with the 4-point lead.
Heaves a pass out to the baseline. Holland. And a travel. Combined 17 travel violations between the two teams. I don't think I've ever seen that many in a contest. Zafiro garners the basketball into the Elmont end. Fordich tries the hook shot from way out there. And Sheeran's gonna pick up a foul. Team's fourth, so they're out of fouls to give. Only Sheeran's first after playing with 4 for the majority of the second half in the semifinals. Fernandez, quick step to the rack. 6-point lead. Zafiro to Sheeran. Poked away. Faison tries to go coast to coast. Thibault picks it up. Mid-block jumper, too strong for Wabadoo.
I'll tell you, there's a fan behind us who just keeps screaming up, pull it out, and he's 100% right.
Three-pointer, drains it. Gabby Zafiro, one of the best three-point shooters on the island. Second in the 2 counties in three-point field goals made. She brings it back to a 1-possession game with just 27 seconds to play.
And again, I go back, you know, the Elmont fan behind us is not wrong, right? Because you need, with the lead that Elmont has, you need to use the clock as your friend and not rush to the basket. So now you see on the bottom of your screen, 50-47 Elmont. The timeout situation. Jump ball is in North Shore's favor. So you got to figure there will be pressure here from North Shore off the inbounds.
Four team fouls for North Shore. So next one, they will be shooting 2. The 3-point lead for Elmont. Who trailed at half. Came back in this fourth quarter. Thibault loses the ball. Fordich, it's a 1-point game. Barwick with the steal. Wabadoo heaves a pass out. Holland toes the baseline. She stepped out. North Shore will have the ball, down by 1 with 17 seconds to play. What a turn of events here at the MAC.
You know, we talked all about the pressure that Elmont puts, and then all of a sudden North Shore gets the turnover, and what a job. It comes from Barwick, who then fed Fordich for the layup, the turnover on the other end, and wow. Now, if you are North Shore, you are down 1. Shot clock is off. There's 17 seconds. Do you take the last shot? Meaning with like 1 or 2 seconds left.
It's a tough call to make, and who takes the last shot as well?
Well, at least you've got options.
Yes.
You've got Sheeran, who's been spectacular. Zafiro, who's scored 2,000 points. And you've got other players, too, who have come up big today. Barwich and Fordich, and so there are options there. But I've got to figure a last shot. It's either 13 or 2. Those are your leaders who have gotten you to this point.
Barwick, Fordich, Zafiro, Scuderi, Sheeran, Fernandez, Thibault, Faison, Wabadoo. The inbound, Scuderi. Be a backcourt violation. It last touched off her hands. They want the officials to discuss this.
And they're gonna talk it over. I think it was tipped. I think it was tipped.
That was absolutely tipped. And it'll go back to North Shore.
That's a good call. I mean, the Elmont fans don't like it, and they'll have a conversation as they should. But that ball was absolutely tipped.
So now they're going to check the scoring, or the timer rather than that. 16 seconds. On the inbound, here's Zafiro, down by 1. Gets double teamed. Barwick to Zafiro with 8 seconds to play. Drives the lane, throws it up, no good. Loose ball. Fernandez got fouled.
There was a foul first. There was a foul before time ran out. But the officials are walking off the court. It's over.
There's zeros on the board, and Elmont wins their first championship in Nassau County since 2004.
What a wacky end of the game. But the officials walk off the court, and it is final. Elmont their first county title since 2004. 6th overall.
And we'll be back with one of the victorious Elmont players who just won their first county title since 2004. 50-49 the final score here from the MAC. We'll be back with more on News 12 Varsity.
On March 12th, starting at 11 a.m., watch the best of Long Island high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions. Live on Channel 14. This doubleheader begins at 11 a.m. with the Class A Finals, followed by the Class AA Finals at 1:30 p.m. Watch the best of Long Island high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
Welcome back to News 12 Varsity. Elmont, your champions here in Nassau County Class A. A 1-point win over North Shore. Arguably the top player today, Gigi Faison, doing it all, 15 points. How does this feel, first of all, to know that you're champions?
It's amazing, honestly. Like, it was last year, it was like so big. Like, I was a freshman last year and we made it so close. And this year being a sophomore with all of my friends doing this every year, we do AAU, everything just to get it to this point, and it was amazing. Like, it felt great.
Well, you guys trailed most of that second quarter going into the third, and then really just a defensive full-court press, and that's how things changed up for you guys. How did the defensive side of the game really translate to this comeback?
Well, defense wins games. That's how we say it. Defense wins games always. And we always say that once we switch the defense all the time, it always gets them rattled. So once we do that, they don't know what we're going to do, and the defense always picks up. Defense always gets the offense going.
You were playing with 4 personal fouls for most of that fourth quarter and still able to stay on the floor, make some good defensive stands. Take us through that final play. Sophia driving down with one more chance.
All I know is that my coach said don't be in help, because if I'm in help, I'm going to get that foul. So I tried not to be in help, and all I know is that my big man Cam, she got the ball, they blocked the shot, and they did what they had to do so I could stay in the game and we can win this.
It's amazing that most of this team is full of juniors and sophomores and freshmen. Your 2 captains are juniors in Kem and Zanea. What do their leadership bring, and really just this whole group? What is so tight about this group?
It's not even just we're a team. We're all best friends. Like, we're all very close together. We play on the same teams all year round. They don't yell at us. They don't have to do this and that. You know, they just tell us what it is when we need to do it. And they are my inspiration, honestly. They're my inspirations on the court.
A big win today for Elmont. They will move on to the Long Island Championship next Saturday. They'll play Mount Sinai. That's going to do it for us here at News 12 Varsity. Many thanks to the entire crew. As always, my broadcast partner, Dylan Butler, and our producer, Tom Schnars. I am Dan Savarino saying thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.